The floating science facility Ocean Turtle, a mammoth structure nearly a quarter-mile long and over an eighth of a mile wide, consisted of 12 decks, also known as levels. By comparison, the world's largest cruise ship, Oasis of the Seas, was smaller and had 18 decks, so there was an air of even greater luxury on the Ocean Turtle. However, given that its purpose was not leisure but oceanic scientific research, it made sense that the various observational and analytical devices would need extra room. Asuna certainly wasn't going to complain about having more space overhead. The first deck, under the waterline, was the float deck. The second, just above it, was the mechanical deck. And decks 3 through 8 were dedicated to various types of research: marine biology, deep-sea resources, plate structure, and so on. The 9th and 10th decks were for cabins. The 11th was for recreation, sporting lounges, gyms, and a pool. And the 12th and top deck contained radars, antennas, and observation points. Officially, the Ocean Turtle belonged to JAMSTEC, the Japan Agency for Marine Earth Science and Technology, but that was only half the truth. As the craft was propelled by a domestically produced nuclear power reactor, it had to be constructed with the help of the Self-Defense Force, and it continued to be manned by SDF soldiers at all times for security now that it was operational. Beyond that, the composite titanium alloy pillar that ran through the center of the ship, the main shaft, was completely under SDF jurisdiction, where they conducted top-secret research that had nothing to do with marine science. They were replicating newborn souls and growing them within a virtual environment in an attempt to build the world's first true bottom-up artificial intelligence, Project Alicization. 7:45 a.m., Monday, July 6th, 2026. After paying a visit to Kazuto Kirigaya, Kirito, in the medical area of the upper shaft, where he was recuperating, Asuna Yuki took breakfast in the 11th deck lounge with Dr. Rinko Kojiro, an expert researcher on full-dive technology. It wasn't a luxury cruise liner, but the buffet-style food was actually pretty good. Not that Asuna was going to complain about that or her cabin, given that Lieutenant Colonel Seijiro Kikuoka could snap his fingers and have her sent to the brig, if the facility indeed had such a thing. Across from her, Rinko stuck her knife through a white fish fritter and held it up to examine the meat. "Do you suppose they caught this fish here?" I don't know," Asuna said, looking at the same thing on her plate. She brought a piece up to her mouth. The pale fish was soft and crumbly, yet had a juicy texture. It was obviously very fresh, but she didn't know whether you could simply toss a reel out into the open ocean like this and catch something. Asuna put down her knife and picked up her glass of iced tea as she turned her gaze to the window on her left. The calm ocean surface was dark and flat, revealing no fishing craft, much less any actual fish. Thinking about it, all she knew was that the Ocean Turtle was located somewhere in the Izu Islands, which were widely spaced across a large expanse of ocean, north to south. Hachijojima was in the center of the archipelago, and that island itself was nearly 200 miles from Tokyo. If she could freely use her phone, she could have just pulled up a map program to pinpoint their location, but for various security reasons, she wasn't allowed to connect to the Megafloat's Wi-Fi. She could still listen to her saved music files, which was better than having the phone confiscated entirely. But there was definitely something frustrating about having a smartphone and being unable to use it to instantly look up information. She hadn't even been this frustrated during SAO, when she had neither internet searching capabilities nor any news from the real world whatsoever. Asuna swallowed the lump of annoyance along with her iced tea and tried to change her mood. Being this angry about lacking internet access was simply a reflection of her overall deficit of necessary information.